time, I would have ended up delivering my speech from the car calling desk at the lobby. They had a mic and a podium. So I arranged it with them. I said, sir, romba late aachuna, I'll come and talk from here. Romba prepare pannirken. So I had to do this. Hey, good afternoon, people. My name is Anand Nagarajan. Right? Just before you think whether you want to head out to the door or answer that missed call, give me a couple of minutes. I'll give you a background of who I am. And I'll tell you what I plan to talk about. Right? The first company that I set up was within a day of leaving college. So that's how I started off. I'm a first generation entrepreneur, come from a middle class, upper middle class family. My dad did not work in India for about 20 years or 25 years of his life. He was not here, he was abroad. I was there with him. And I came in here, I finished my schooling in Chennai, I finished my engineering in Bangalore, and then I started a company. So the question that I want to talk to you about is something that I think all of you want to go back and try to answer for yourself, saying, you have a bunch of students who are undergrad students, postgrad students who are there in your colleges today, who probably sitting there and saying, hey, listen, I don't know what to do, right? Now, if we turn around and tell them, you tell me your problem statement, I will give you an answer, they probably don't even know what the problem statement is, right? So what I am going to try to touch upon today is the journey of transition between being a student and being an entrepreneur. That's it. I'm not going to talk about people who have work experience. I don't know how the transition works. I'm not going to talk about people who are married and who have kids and say, how do I take care of financial security for my family when I want to jump? I don't know how that works. The only thing that I know is what I faced then and what I know today, right? So that gives me the opening slide, basically saying, building an ecosystem to foster entrepreneurship. If I were to make this any longer, I would have added, ecosystem foster entrepreneurship in undergraduate or engineering or MBA schools. That's how this topic would have read, right? Now, the question is why? So why do we need to foster it? How do we need to do this, right? So I'm going to take a quick step across 10 years and tell you how I work and operate today and how I did it before. And then you'd see the gaps, and then you'd find out what we need to do about closing those gaps, right? So a couple of months back, I had a harebrained idea. In the Dexler group, we have about 5 companies. We're in about three countries around the world. We do a lot of exciting stuff. We do a lot of very, very interesting stuff, right? So I got a harebrained idea that I said, you know what, we want a motorsport park in Bangalore. I just got up and I said, I love driving very fast. I think there's a huge opportunity. We want a motorsport park in Bangalore. Right? The closest one that came up was up north in Delhi, and then there was one more in Coimbatore. I said, listen, we need something in Bangalore. People have fancy cars. There is an opportunity. So then, what we did, we constituted a whole team inside. So I went and we hired a few market research people. Then we put in a team. And what we started doing? We started doing data collection. So then we started finding out, saying, where are the land available? What are the rules and regulations? Who is the licensing body for this? What are similar business models? What kind of theme parks exist? What kind of models do they have? Who are their investors? What kind of performance have they had over the last 5 years? And this is all fundamental data collection. Then I caught hold of a few more people and I said, now you guys make a report of all the data that you've gone and collected. Right? So this was an interesting part, because then they're suddenly going there and saying market potential. You're saying how many cars are sold, this, that. All harebrained ideas. You start coming up with, brand new level metrics that they're trying to put in place. They're trying to do all of this. And then we have a revenue model, a cash flow model, net present value for the investment, what is the shortage of the funds that is there, 5-year cash flow statement, 5-year P&L statement. We had this entire thing out. Then valuation. So where do we start getting money from? This is about a 250, 300 crore project. Where do we start getting money from? We sure as hell didn't have enough. Right? So we said, so how do we do it? How do we go ahead and start building this? Who is going to start giving it? What stages do we start diluting? What stages do investors come in? What exits do these investors have? Right? Now, this is all that we've done in the last 4 months. Right? We're still 6 months away from even finishing probably the first draft of our business plan. The first draft is still 6 months away. Team, we have 4 people who have been working on this consecutively for 3 months. We have our investment bankers, we have our commercial bankers. I have every guy in our team who knows anything about sales and marketing to sit in and have a look at this. Lovely business, right? This is me after 11 years. After 11 years of doing this and setting up businesses, this is how we go about doing this. This was me back in college. This was our business plan back in college. I have an idea, I'm going to go out and make money with it. That is it. So people come back and they keep asking me, saying, hey Anand, how did you start? I mean, where did this all start? I say, you know what, the biggest boon that we had was not knowing how deep it was. So this was the business plan back then. The first one that you see is probably the right way of going ahead and setting up a business. But this is what your students are coming out with plans. They don't have a what-if scenario. They don't come in and start saying, how do we manage a lot of the real-world components, right? Now, I want to demystify entrepreneurship a little bit. The minute we start talking about entrepreneurship, people say, hey, listen, we need a vision, we need a mission, we need strategy, we need consultants, we need finance, we need a lot of this, right? A lot of things that are there in your real-world components today are not those big jargon stuff, are very, very simple things. As a student straight out of college, I didn't know where to go incorporate a company. We were not a business family. I didn't know who a chartered accountant would be to help me out do this. I didn't know what the process framework was to do that. I didn't know what kind of documentation I had to go through. And then you bring in this slew of bodies that you have to go in and get your approvals from: sales tax, PF, ESI, income tax. All these departments, you go file your documents, they all give you paperwork. Without any of this, you can't even start. Without some of these, you can start, but you can't bill. With some of these, you can bill, but you can't collect money. Now, people ignore a few of these. These look extremely transactional. Someone would look at this and say, hey, listen, I can get this off Google. You know what? You can't. Because in each city, in each state, the rules are slightly different. A lot of startup entrepreneurs lose the shirt off their back because they don't understand the TDS has to be paid to the government and cannot be kept in cash flow. It sounds like a very simple statement. But you know what? When they have to make payroll, when they have to ensure that their staff are paid, when their vendors are paid, they look at the TDS money and say the government can wait. They don't understand the need for licensing of software. They don't understand the needs of regulatory bodies. What is the Environment Control Board going to come and do if I'm running a generator without a license? He will come and pull your power off. He will disrupt your business till such time you set it up again. So you have a whole slew of these. Fresher out of college, no clue. Now, it would have been very different if I had had 2 years of work experience, because then at least I would have had an HR manual. Right? I would have joined a company that had given me an HR manual, then I get someone to type it up, control, find, replace Infosys/Wipro/TCS/IBM, replace their names and put our company name there and say, we've got the best HR manual today. All right? I would have had an appointment letter. It took us 1.5 years to issue the first appointment letter.